There's a version of you that would terrify your current self. Not louder, not more confident, not even more talented, just impossible to negotiate with. He wakes up when he said he would. He does what he planned to do. He finishes what he starts. No debate, no delay, no second voice. And that's exactly why most men will never become him. Because the moment you remove negotiation, you remove comfort, and the modern man is addicted to comfort. Ancient philosophy knew this, and that's why it built a system so unforgiving, so brutally honest, that most people reject it the moment they understand it. Chapter 1, The Awakening. He tells himself today will be different. This time, he means it. He sets goals, makes a plan, feels that familiar surge of motivation. For a moment, he believes he's changed, but then reality begins. The alarm rings. His body feels heavy. His mind whispers, just 5 more minutes. And in that moment, a decision is made. Not consciously, but deeply. He chooses comfort over commitment. Again, the rest of the day follows the same pattern. He delays the work, avoids the discomfort, escapes into distraction, and by the end of the day, he feels it. That quiet disappointment, not loud enough to break him, but constant enough to shape him. This is how most men live, not failing dramatically, but slowly drifting away from who they could become. Modern culture calls this normal. Ancient Stoicism calls it dangerous, because to a Stoic, this is not about productivity, it's about identity decay. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He ruled an empire, but his greatest concern was not war or politics. It was whether he could control himself, because he knew something most people ignore. A man who cannot command himself cannot command anything. Chapter 2, The Ancient System. In the ancient world, life was uncertain. There were no guarantees, no safety nets, no endless second chances. And so the Stoics built a philosophy, not for comfort, but for survival. At its core was a simple but brutal truth. There are only 2 things in this world: what you control and what you don't. That's it. Not your reputation, not your success, not how others treat you. Only your thoughts, your actions, your decisions. Everything else is noise. Epictetus taught that if you attach yourself to things you cannot control, you will live in constant suffering, and modern life proves this every day. People stress over opinions, over outcomes, over things that were never in their control to begin with. But the Stoic does something different. He withdraws his energy from everything external and places it entirely on himself. This creates something rare, clarity, because when you remove everything you cannot control, what remains becomes obvious. Your discipline, your habits, your standards. And this is where most people begin to feel uncomfortable, because now there is nowhere left to hide. Chapter 3, The Internal War. The moment you try to live like this, you will feel resistance, not from the world, but from within. Your body will fight you. It will crave rest, even when you don't need it. It will seek pleasure, even when it harms you. Your mind will become even more dangerous. It will justify weakness with logic. You've worked hard already. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. These thoughts feel reasonable. That's what makes them powerful. But the Stoics saw through this illusion. They understood that the mind is not always your ally. Sometimes it is your greatest obstacle. Seneca the Younger warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and much of that suffering comes from internal conflict. You want growth, but you act in comfort. You want discipline, but you choose ease. This creates friction, a constant tension between 2 identities, the man you are and the man you claim to be. The Stoic does not try to balance this. He eliminates it. By choosing one identity, and rejecting the other. Chapter 4. The One Path. There is no middle ground in Stoicism, no half-discipline, no partial commitment. There is only one path. You do what must be done, regardless of mood, regardless of motivation, regardless of circumstance. This is not motivational thinking. This is identity enforcement. Marcus Aurelius did not wait to feel ready. He acted because it was required, because in his world, hesitation had consequences. And while your life may not depend on your discipline, your future does. The modern mind struggles with this idea because it has been trained to prioritize feelings. If I don't feel like it, I won't do it. But the Stoic reverses this completely. Your feelings are irrelevant. Your actions define you. And once you accept this, something shifts. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for the right moment. You stop negotiating. You simply act. Chapter 5. Practice without gaps. Discipline is not built in moments of intensity. It is built in moments of consistency. Small actions, repeated daily, without exception. The Stoics believed that even a single lapse matters, not because it ruins progress, but because it weakens identity. Imagine a blade being forged. Each strike of the hammer strengthens it, but if the process stops, even briefly, the metal begins to cool and must be reheated again. This is how discipline works. Every day you act, you reinforce who you are. Every day you don't, you reset the process. Modern psychology calls this identity reinforcement. Your brain adapts to what you repeatedly do. Consistency builds certainty, and certainty eliminates doubt. The Stoic does not rely on bursts of motivation. He builds systems of inevitability, where action becomes automatic, not because it is easy, but because it is who he is. Chapter 6. Pre-solutions. Most people react to life. Stoics prepare for it. Before the challenge appears, they have already decided how they will respond. They imagine failure, they expect difficulty, they anticipate resistance. Not to be negative, but to eliminate surprise. Because surprise creates hesitation, and hesitation creates weakness. Epictetus taught that when you prepare your mind in advance, nothing can disturb you. In modern terms, this is pre-commitment. You define your actions before emotion interferes. You decide your standards before temptation appears. For example, you don't decide at night whether you will work. You already decided in the morning. You don't choose discipline in the moment of stress. You already chose it when you were calm. Ancient warriors lived this way. They trained before battle. They rehearsed outcomes. They committed to action. So when the moment came, they didn't think. They executed, and that is the goal. To remove decision from action. To make discipline automatic. If this philosophy resonates with you, subscribe to Unique Vision for more lessons from the path of Stoicism, and begin becoming the man your current self would fear.